I am playing RuneScape one coin flip at a time. This is Mike Penny, my Ironman bound by a single challenge. He can only kill a mob until he has a 50% chance at that mob's rarest item. After that, he is locked out forever. This is 50-50. Slayer is a simple skill. In principle, you go to one of the Slayer Masters, they tell you kill 50 of this particular mob, you go ahead, do that task, get back, get another one. Simple in essence, super complicated for me. Because I only have a limited amount of kills on each mob, I need to pick my Slayer tasks and Slayer Masters very, very carefully, so that I don't ever run out of tasks. Now there is a way to not complete a task, and that is skipping. And for skipping we're going to need Slayer points. Now how do you get Slayer points? You get them by doing Slayer. So I have run millions and millions of simulations to make sure I have the best odds at permanently unlocking this skill. I present to you the Slayer checklist. Each Slayer Master has their own list of mobs that they are able to assign as a Slayer task. Now, for me, the best way to approach this is by taking 9 tasks from the Slayer Master Spria, because she has a lot of mobs that I should be able to kill indefinitely on her Slayer list, and she doesn't assign very high amounts as her Slayer tasks. And because of the way Slayer points work, you get more points every 10th task or 50th task or 100th task you do. So for every 10th task, I will switch from Spria to Konar. At this point in the game, Konar will give me the most points per task. So by taking a task from Konar, every 10 tasks, I maximize the amount of points I can get while limiting the amount of tasks I get from Konar, where I'm able to get locked out of a mob fairly quickly. Now, a couple of preparations are in order for me to start actually doing Slayer. First off, we have a quest, a Poor Sign of Interest. This allows me to use Spria as a Slayer task, which is a good thing, but also it gives 30 Slayer points. 30 Slayer points allows me to skip exactly one task. So if I ever roll a task that would get me over a certain kill limit, I can use these 30 Slayer points for a free skip. Spria also unlocks Sour Hogs as a task, which is actually really good for me. And any task that I can kill a large amount of is a task I want to unlock, right? Because that takes a slot away from a mob that I might get locked out of very early. 2, I will not be completing Priest in Peril at this point in time. Spria has the ability to assign 2 mobs, Crawling Hands and Banshees, both of which I am only allowed to kill a very, very limited amount of times. But she can only assign those mobs after you've completed Priest in Peril. Now, Priest in Peril will lock me out of a lot of content, but for now, it's worth it. I need to get Slayer underway first before I start thinking about doing Priest in Peril. Number 3, I need to complete Dragon Slayer. Dragon Slayer allows Konar to assign me all kinds of dragons as Slayer tasks, and because all these dragons have baby variants, which only drop baby dragon bones, I'm allowed to kill an infinite amount of them. So unlocking all these dragons allows me to unlock a huge range of potential Slayer tasks that I can complete over and over and over again. And finally, I need all the help I can get. Now, luckily, there's an item in the game made from opals, and this item is an Expeditious Bracelet. Now, what this does is every time you kill a mob while you're on a Slayer task, it has a 25% chance to count it as 2 kills towards your Slayer task. This will allow me to squeeze out a couple more tasks from Slayer tasks I have a limited amount of completions of. Maybe it can even save me from going over a limit on a certain task. So, before we start Slayer today, we are going to be completing a Poor Sign of Interest. we're going to be completing Dragon Slayer, and we're going to get the stats and items required to make Expeditious Bracelets. And finally, we will not be completing Priest in Peril. Alright, let's get the preparations underway. So first up on the list are the Expeditious Bracelets. Now at first I wanted to get some base combat XP that I missed out on in the last video. So I completed a Vampire Slayer and then I completed Witch's House for some basic HP. Then I got the only hug from a woman that I will ever get, and I got a sweet little kitten that I will take perfectly good care of and definitely not trade in to some sketchy dealers in West Ardoin. Then I also completed some easier quests that only give quest points. And that is because for 100 Slayer points, we are also able to permanently block a task, which is going to be great for us once we've locked out a mob and we never ever want to get that task again. However, you only get one block slot for each 50 quest points that you have. So in order to get really far with Slayer, we're also going to need a lot of quest points. So any quest points that I can easily pick up along the way are quest points I'm going to take. And here it helps that Murder Mystery also gets some crafting XP, which helps us work towards the Expeditious Bracelets. Druidic Ritual, Beneath Ice Mountain, Black Knight Fortress, Observatory Quest for some crafting XP, Goblin Diplomacy for more crafting XP, Doric's Quest for mining XP to mine silver ore, and then Jungle Potion to get the Herblore level for the dig site. And now here's just some beautifully executed tech and pathing and strategy. For the dig site you need 25 thieving, but you also need a cup of tea. Now I was 2 tea stall steals away from getting 25 thieving, so here I grab 2 cups of tea, get 25 thieving, which is the requirement for the dig site. Beautiful. Then I completed the dig site and got the mining level I needed to mine silver ore. I unlocked the chest in Lumbridge Basement because it sells a lot of very useful stuff. I baked Virgo a beautiful red berry pie, and then I completed a Night Sword. Now I unlock the ability to smelt silver bars, which gives me all the requirements I need in order to make Expeditious Bracelets. So for Expeditious Bracelets we need 3 things. We need silver bars, we need cosmic runes, and we need opals. Now cosmic runes we've already gotten through our gangster grind when we tried to get the rune scimitar, so that's covered. So here I'm just mining some silver. I think 3 bracelets will be enough to get me started for Slayer. So I'll just mine 3 silver ore, smelt them into silver bars, and then we'll go get some opals. So there's a lot of different ways to get opals. Most famous one is mining the gem rocks in Shiloh Village. That's mostly used for getting red topaz. But I don't have access to Glory, so the mining speed would be very low. So what I decided to do was come here to the dig site and just pan in the water here. So opals and jades actually have a really good drop rate here. It only took me a couple minutes to get all the opals I needed for the bracelets, and then we could easily move on. There we go. Let's craft these 3 opal bracelets and enchant them. And by enchanting them, that completes the first item of our Slayer checklist. Let's move on to number 2. So next up on our list is Dragon Slayer. And here we are in Melzar's Maze, and a lot of people think that getting these key drops from these mobs is RNG. But of course I don't want to waste any kills on mobs. Luckily, it's always the same design of the mob that kills the item. So here the highlighted rat will give me a key, always. Cabin Boy Jenkins, no! And then after 4 to 7 business days of flinching Elvark with my rune mace, I finally killed him and cut off that bastard's head. And with that, we completed Dragon Slayer and completed the second point on our to-do list. Now all that's left for us to do is complete a Porcine of Interest. Luckily, a Porcine of Interest is not that difficult of a quest, so I just completed it straight away. Now we are ready to receive some Slayer tasks. Alright, so here I present to you the Spria task tier list. These are all the mobs that Spria can assign to me as a Slayer task. Now in S tier at the top you have the keep them coming. These are all mobs that I can kill an infinite amount of in some way or form. Then in the A tier we have I can do plenty. These consist of sour hogs and kelphites. Both of which I can do a couple hundred tasks, I think. For kelphites it's about 200, and for sour hogs it is about 800, or sorry, 400. Then in the B tier we have That's Fine, I guess. These consist of goblins, lizards, and banshees, all of which I can do about 20 to 100 tasks of those. So they are fairly limited in the amount of tasks I get, and if I do Slayer for a longer time, these are also tasks I will lock out of. Then we have Far From Ideal on the D tier. This consists of cave bugs, cave slimes, ice fiends, and cave crawlers. So basically all the cave creatures and ice fiends. I can only do between 4 and 10 tasks for these. So for this first batch of 10 tasks, they are not the worst to get, but these are ones I will lock out of very, very quickly. And then we have the F tier, we have Please No. Please No consists of 2 mobs, the Minotaurs and the Crawling Hands. Both of these, if I get unlucky, I can only do a single task before I get locked out. And remember when I said I didn't want to complete Priest in Peril? That was on purpose, because Priest in Peril unlocks 2 mobs. The Crawling Hands, which are in F tier, and then the Banshees, which are in C tier. All the other mobs are unlocked by default if you use Spria. So that means by not doing Priest in Peril, I've effectively removed these 2 mobs from the list. So that means the only mob that will give us real problems if we get it within the first 10 tasks is the Minotaur. Right, now that we have this overview, let's go to Spria and let's get our first Slayer task. Alright, here we go. Oh god, I'm really nervous. I'm actually shaking a little bit. We're gonna get our first assignment from Spria. What we're looking for is anything but Minotaurs. We need 9 tasks in a row, and only one of them can be Minotaurs, ideally. So let's get our very first assignment. Let's see what it is. 24 dwarves. Hell yes, that's a good task. That's a good task. All right, we'll go ahead and do that. Yes, that's good. So for these dwarf tasks, these mobs I'm killing are actually these dwarf gang members, which is a unique name, and they drop nothing, which means they are exempt from the plugin, and I am allowed to kill an infinite amount of them. So whenever I get a dwarf task, I can kill these dwarves, as you can see here, dwarf gang member, they're exempt. And so this Slayer task will always be free to me. There's unfortunately no real easy safe spot here available, so I have to sort of tactically retreat in such a way that, you know, I attack them easily. But that's all fine to me, as long as I get a Slayer task that I can complete without actually counting towards a kill count. I am a very happy man. Alright, first Slayer task is in the books. We killed 24 dwarves and we gained 675 Slayer XP, but most importantly, we've completed 1 task. Can we complete the next one as well? 18 Ice Fiends. That is not fantastic, but it's not as bad as Minotaurs. It's decent. We'll go and do the task. We can certainly complete one of them, but we will need our Expeditious Bracelet for this. So Ice Fiends are pretty straightforward. I'm wearing an Expeditious Bracelet because Ice Fiends do have a limited kill amount. I can only kill 89 because their rarest drop, I think, is an air rune at 1 in 128. These are really the only places I can kill Ice Fiends, so there's not much choice. But I should be able to complete a couple of tasks of Ice Fiends if I were to get them more often. So it's not a good task, but it's a decent one. I'll take it. I'll take anything instead of a Minotaur task. So Alright, so that is task 2. The Ice Fiend task is done. Let's hope for another good one. Let's keep us going, Spria, please. Cave bugs. We'll take them. We'll take them. That's not perfect, but it is an Expeditious Bracelet task again. So again, cave bugs not that interesting. They are here in the Lumbridge dungeon. I can kill 199 of them. So like I said, it's not an ideal task because they do have a limited kill count. But for these first 10 tasks I need to complete, they are perfectly fine. But I will be wearing my Expeditious Bracelet for him, just so I can complete a little bit more of these tasks than may be necessary. Alright, that is task number 3 in the books. Unfortunately, I killed a couple too many. I wasn't paying too much attention, so I killed a little more cave bugs than actually necessary. But let's get assignment number 4. Assignment number 4. What is it? Calphites. That's good. That's good. We have plenty of room for calphites. So there's no real need to worry there. There's lots of different types of calphites. We should be good. Alright, so here we are at the Calphite Caves. For starting out at the Calphite Workers, I'm allowed to kill 541, which should get us through these early tasks at least. And after I've gone through these Calphite Workers, I can still kill Calphite Soldiers, Guardians, and of course the Calphite Queen. But naturally, the Calphite Workers are a good place to start. Even though I am allowed to kill quite a few of them, I'm still wearing my Expeditious Bracelet because they have a limited amount of total kills. Which, for me it's just important. Anything that's not exempt, I am going to be using this Expeditious Bracelet on. Hellfight task is completed. Now we are back for our 5th task. This is going to be our halfway mark, hopefully. Let's see, what do we get? What do we get? Zombies, that's good. Zombies is good. That's perfect. That's brilliant. Alright, so here we are back at Melzar's Maze, a familiar place to all of you. These zombie rats actually do count towards a zombie slayer task. And since they don't drop anything, or the thing they drop, which is the key, is a guaranteed drop if you kill the right one, they are actually exempt from the calculations, which means this is an infinite slayer task. And now once we complete Priest in Peril, we will be able to kill undead cows, which is a little better than these zombie rats, but these will do for now. These are perfectly fine. Anything that doesn't cut into my maximum kill limit for any mob is a slayer task I will happily take. Alright, so here we are, back again at Spria. We are 5 tasks on the way. Let's go get another one. Spiders, perfect. Perfect, beautiful, nothing left to say. Let's go kill some giant spiders. Yeah, so these spiders here, these giant spiders, they're very straightforward. They do not drop anything, which means they are exempt from the calculations. And as you know, any monster that is exempt, I can kill indefinitely. So that just means I can kill these giant spiders for any spider task I get in the future. And it's just a really fast task. It's very close by to Spria as well. So this is just perfect for me. So we're already, I've been here for like 30 seconds and we only need 6 more. So this is just a beautiful task. Alright, so that is task number 6. Task number 6 is in the books. And let's see what task number 7 is going to bring us. Not Minotaurs. 26 rats. That's also just a beautiful task. Perfect. I'll go back to the zombie rats that I used to kill the zombies. Because they also count as rats. Which makes sense, because they're zombie rats. Alright, we are in very, very good territory. We have completed 7 tasks. We need 2 more tasks from Spria, and then we can get a task from Konar, and hopefully get the points we need. So, no Minotaurs, please, Spria. Give us anything but cows! Beautiful. I love you, Spria. Let me give you a big ol' kiss on the forehead. You are a brilliant lady. Let's kill some cows in the pen. Alright, this is going to be our final Slayer task before we move to Konar. And then of course Konar has to be in our favor as well for us to get the 90 points. But as long as Spria doesn't give us Minotaurs, we should be in very, very good shape. Because then we're also able to skip one Konar task, which is really big for us. So let's see. Spiders again. Beautiful, beautiful. That means we've got 9 tasks completed, basically. I'll move on to the spiders, and that is the first 9 tasks, basically completed. And that is the 9th Slayer task completed. We can now move on to Konar, but Konar has a requirement, which is 75 combat, which is not something I currently am. So I am going to make sure I get my combat level up, and in the next episode, we will be getting our Konar Slayer task. And then we will finally know, do I lock out of Slayer as a skill, yes or no? I'll see you next time.